G'day Legends, Atron here. So we've got the new update coming in, and in this video what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be calling this new hero Espirita. I'm just going to call her Esp for short, so if you're wondering why, Esp is her short name for what I want to use. But in this vid, I'm going to go through the normal basic, just, mechanics of how she works, a little bit of Lost Realm, a little bit of Expedition. I'll explain the skill and what I think are some good talents on there. And I've also got a little bit of a bonus. I've got some new drops on Insane Dungeon 7.10 and 7.9, and how she compares to Anubis when doing those dungeons and those 100 targets, which is why we think she'll be an Insane Dungeon 8 monster. So that's my prediction. But before we get into the chat, I'll just zoom out here. But if any of you are aware of how YouTube works, there is some new monetization rules involved, which basically means, in short, for all those who don't know what I'm talking about, is that the requirement for YouTube channels to be monetized now has been increased. So all it is for me right here is just a call out to, if you do watch other people's videos or other people's channels and they are a smaller channel and you do like their content, go and subscribe to them, because the new requirements are 1,000 subscribers, and I think they need 4 hours worth of watch time per year. Now again, probably doesn't mean a lot to people, but it's just a shout out that it's a new set of rules. So supporting your YouTube creators is really going to help them in this coming year. So that's it from there. But let's get into what this is all about. So Espirita, or Esp, because I can't be bothered saying the whole thing all over again. Now let's read her skill at level 1. Deals 100, let's just do a level 10. But so it deals 450% attacks damage to 4 enemy targets, increases spirits, no, spirit I'm assuming is the demon here, so increases spirits attack by 160% and attack speed by 100% for 9 seconds. So right there, basically, you're looking like, it's like a BT crossed with a mic proc crossed with, as we will find out, an Anubis, pretty much. So, and then the spirit has its own skill as well. So just like Grizzly does, Spirit's skill deals equal or damage equal to 200% spirit attack to a maximum of 100 enemies, and recovers HP to itself to equal to 35% of the damage dealt. So right there, before we move on to the rest of that description, the attack damage it receives is only from its own base attack. So there's no, so putting War God on her is not actually going to affect anything. The damage is equal to 200% spirit attack, not Esp attack or Espirita attack. It is only the demon's attack. So putting War God on her, it's much like Gunslinger and her copters. It's pretty much like that. Now I know in the pre-videos of the translations it a bit confusion, but here sums it up the elusiveness. So it grants Espirita elusive for 1 second and HP recovery to equal to 800% spirit attack. So spirit attack is undefined, but it would increase with the hero level and obviously the skill level as well. Cooldown 2 seconds, which is actually pretty huge. So every 2 seconds, this spirit has a chance to hit 100 enemies. So, and immune to stun and fear, just like the Mike Archangel dupe, immune to stun and fear. So, and takes 80% less damage. So it's a bit of a tanky thing. But the main thing here is to note, in my opinion, that War God and a Bulwark will probably work all right on her, but for what I'm going to be using her in dungeons, those 100 enemies are really only based on the skill level, and they're really only based on the demon attack level, which I'm assuming is relevant to the level of Espirita. So that's the description and my understanding of the skill. I was able to roll her pretty luckily, so I'm pretty short on resources at the moment. So she's sitting at skill 9. I got a talent box and I got stone skin, and I think that's actually going to work pretty well on her. The demon being fairly damage reduction inbuilt anyway, so making her the same on top of that elusive is going to make it, you know, for a formidable enemy, that's for sure. I've just got her crested at the moment with 5 bite just to showcase her talent and her skill a little bit faster during this stuff. I did augment her, but I haven't really done anything with traits and whatnot. They're basic. I'm assuming dodge is probably going to be the go-to if you're going to go that SS build, or you may go attack, because that 400% proc is still quite large. So I mean, the bulwark will work well, but those 4 targets is the only thing receiving, much like Waller, to be honest, much like Waller in the fact of how many targets is actually getting hit. But she doesn't debuff, she's just straight damage. So let's get into you know, just a couple of gameplay stuff. We'll go to Lost Realm and we'll hit a couple enemies here, and we'll start to see her skill. So we'll get rid of everyone else here, and we'll just do a couple of battles just to showcase to everyone you know, how she works. Now, she is auto proc, so the demon procs straight away, and with 5 Vite the demon will start attacking, and he'll get all the benefits of her proc straight away. So when she goes in, the demon starts hitting, but he doesn't get full energy. So the quickest way to get this demon in full energy would probably be a Cupid and an Athene combo, but that's probably not going to be working all that ideally for insane dungeons. As you'll see later, it's not, you know, the demon still does proc, or the spirit still does proc, so, but he needs to hit a couple of times. 5 Vite off Espirita will offer that, you know, offer the attack speed bonus you get a little there, so he, you know, he's going to grant energy a bit quicker. One thing to note, now let's just get out of here. I mean, Lost Realm is fairly boring, you can't really see a lot. But let's just go to the expedition really quickly so we can get some easy bases, and we will have a look about how he does in the midst of other heroes and around buildings and stuff like that. So, where is she? Yep, so what do we do? We might get a Cupid in there, Athene. We'll get a Waller just for heal, that's right, we won't need all that much. Alright, so we're dropping Espirita. So her proc is auto proc, but it is straight damage. So she hits buildings, which is fine. Being 8 stone skin as she is at the moment, it's not, you know, it's not a lot of damage. She is 9 skill, like it's still doing a fair chunk. These heroes, yeah, they're devos, some of them at least. But the main damage is going to be coming from the demon itself. So he's pretty tanky there, and one of those heroes looks like it has corrode, probably the Anubis, or the SK Skull Knight. So like, she's all right in that regard, but as soon as she gets attacked, I mean, she's going to go down anyway. Now I've kind of messed that up because of what was going on. Oh, this is the new interface too. If no one's seen it, the only thing, I actually quite like it. You get to see everything when you're going and raiding in dungeons, which is one of my favorite things here. You get to sweep, and it shows you how much gold you're losing as you do it. So that is actually fantastic. The only thing I do not like is the fact that they've taken away the HB from the top, so the honor badges. Because I'm so used to being able to see them all the time, because you use them all the time. That was the only thing I really got to say. I think this feature here of attack mode and defense mode and the warehouse is actually really great. Everything, it will only take a little bit to get used to. These are the little buildings that are running around, so you click on these exclamation marks, and the quarries, if you've got spare builders. I think these are the biggest waste of space and time. They do almost nothing, even especially at high tier, but even at low tier. I mean, if you're maxed buildings, yeah, sure, they're a couple extra. And the fame you get's like, you know, 80 fame plus your might bonus, or 40 fame plus a might bonus, depending on what's going on. But it's better than nothing. But I mean, if you're still maxing buildings, I think it's almost worthless. So, getting her into a base. Now we'll proc her against a Rockno and see just how well we go there. So we've got Gunslinger coming out. Now the demon will make Espirita elusive. Now bad example just there, but we'll revive her. Now, like you have to note that I'm building her, and I'm thinking she's only going to be super useful in my eyes for dungeons. So I'm planning to max her for Insane Dungeon 8 when it comes out, because I think that's where she's going to be viable. When you're going to have the need to, you know, use Anubis or use her to proc on those 100 enemies, that's where it's going to get interesting. Now, like BT or Beast Tamer, once her spirit dies, she is done. So, well, you know, the spirit's done. It doesn't come back. It's not like another hero that's just, you know, gets activated, like a summon's pet. So, you know, overall, her uniqueness in this kind of scenario is semi-lacking. Now, if she wasn't 8 stone skin, now there's a lot of heal between these guys, right? So she heals him and the demon heals her. So that, you know, if they're getting attacking and they've got a mic in the background, you know, there's going to be a fair amount of damage popping up, and especially if, you know, if she is dodge and he's got all the damage reduction, that's great. You know, you're going to be able to go for a while right there. So as we can see, there's a few heroes that are low health, but nothing crazy because she is stone skin, as I was saying. Now that's pretty much it as far as the gameplay sort of goes. I mean, you can go and see other stuff. There wasn't a whole heap there. I'm mainly interested in the dungeons. So what I've got prepared now is a couple of clips of 710, Insane Dungeon 710, and a couple of drops of 7.9 as well, and how she is still able to pop all of the heroes in one go, just like Anubis does in my other video of 7.9. But what I want to showcase there is that she is still a viable option in comparison to Anubis, who is 8 War God, and down. Well, let's compare my Anubis right here. So we've got a God of Espirita. She's not skill 10, so keep in mind that she's skill 9 through these next few videos. And Anubis is, well, we can go defensive and we can go straight to the altar with this button here, which is cool. So Anubis is 8 War God, 10 skill, and he's got Cursed Battlefield on him, and his attack is almost all attack traits. So that's my Anubis, and that's why I like to use, you know, his dungeon built for sure. So when you look at those guys side by side, you know, you've got Anubis with a proc of 300% plus, you know, I think the 10% it is from the, what does he do? 10% to their max HP, yeah. So yeah, that'll equal a fair bit of damage in dungeons. But all you're relying on for Espirita is the demon proc of, so spirit skill deals 180% spirit attack, so we don't really know exactly what that is. I'm sure we can figure it out to an extent. And then we have 100 enemies, so that's going to be proccing on a PD proc, on a mic proc, on a Waller proc. All that stuff is going to help that spirit do more damage. So the major thing about the spirit, though, in comparison to Anubis is every 5 seconds. The spirit is every 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds he's proccing off. That can also be a really bad thing, because you're going to be looking at 7.9, as you'll see soon. We'll just do a drop really quickly into 7.9, and then I'll cut the scene and I'll reload the videos that I've already done of the drops. But so what we're going to do, we're going to wait till 23, 24 sort of seconds, and then we drop everyone as per normal, and we get it in. So, you know, she's still able to pop all the heroes, as you can see there. Now, well, a fair few of them. In the other video, you'll see a lot easier. But she's still doing damage, right? The only downside in 7.9 right here is the fact that every 2 seconds, if you're hitting the Anubises or is there a PKs in this one? Phantom Kings? or the Trixie Treats or anyone else who's an auto proc going on, it's it's going to kill your heroes a lot quicker, whereas Anubis is kind of like a big bang all at once. Anyway, so that's that. I will just do these, I'll cut the scene here and I'll just go into these next videos really quickly. I'll double speed them and then I'll send a link through the video of it slowed down, and I'll talk a little bit about the drop in that. So alright guys, we'll see you in one moment. Okay, so we're going straight into 710 here, and it's a pretty simple drop as per normal. We're leading with Espirita, but really this is just a comparison for seeing the damage that she can do. All the heroes are popped there, so that's the main concern. Is she equivalent damage, or is she equivalent value to Anubis in how she can proc? Now that demon doesn't get stunned, so he's kind of handy. It's like basically having an Anubis and a Mike proc in one, I guess. That would be it. But if you do want to see this video slowed down, I will tag a link or tag a description in the top right corner there for you. So just go and click on that, and I'll shortly create a video just slow down so you can get to see a little bit more of it. So what did I do here in this next one? I've got both of them in there. So it's like, to how much power. I think, to be honest, it's pretty relatively the same. The pop is a little bit faster, I suppose, or they all go at once, but realistically, this one was a bit easier because there is no Anubises, there is no SKs, so you don't really need to, worry so much about it. But that was just showcasing, 710, pretty, in a comparison to Anubis, she's there, and that was just a bonus thing to having them both run through. So what I have been doing in later dungeons too is using Waller, because I didn't have him when I completed all these dungeons. I really haven't gone back, but Waller is being actually super useful in dungeons. So I've just got a little bonus clip here. It doesn't have a Espirita in it, but it's just a drop for 7.9 that I've been using Waller, I think, in place of Mike, to be honest, for this one. So, and that's pretty simple. So that goes in, and if you want to see how this ends, I will post the finishing of it in the next video, along with the slowed down Espirita drops for 7.9 and 7.10. So anyway guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll have some more gameplay of some dungeons and other stuff with Espirita very, very soon.